Hey everybody, welcome back to Satisfactory. Hi, how you doing this morning? How's it going? Look, there's a big bridge. The bridge is done. Oh, I was actually in the right photo mode here. Oh my god, I... Take two. So yeah, bridge is done. Got it all finished up. Got it restrung properly. Off to an auspicious start this morning. So yeah, we got it all strung out and set up here. And sorry, just brain farting myself a little bit here. Oh, good lord, what have I done? There we go. Okay. Yeah, so the bridge is done. So yep, got the rest of the strings in, changed the center tower there. We'll kind of take a bit another look at it. And we've expanded our structures here. Oh, that's that interesting. That immediately takes you to photo mode. Huh, okay. I really haven't played that much with these photo settings yet, and you can tell, can't you? Yeah, what is this monstrosity? That is a spiral that will lead down to this plane here, which will then take us into the cave system. I've just flipped back to normal view here. And yeah, that is the cave that will take us up there. I haven't gone all the way up the cave yet. I've just got the path run down here. Didn't mean to get this far along, but you know, once you kind of fall into constructing, sometimes it's a little hard to stop. So got all of this done here. Again, all nice and try to make it look supported, so it's all anchored into the mountain side. This was pretty easy to build now. I'm really happy so far with my spiral system here. It just snaps into place really easy. And it's good to go, and I kind of feel bad that I built it and didn't leave any sections to show you guys. But sometimes when you get into the groove, you get into the groove. Of course, we have our roundabout here, which allows everything to kind of keep flowing through. Took a little bit of finagling to get the signaling working. I don't know, the signaling just seems to be getting worse as the game goes on. For some odd reason, it gets more and more difficult, especially the pass signals, but this time it actually all worked out. Of course, I haven't signaled all the way back to the end there, but we can take care of that as we fly through. So what is today's plan? Well, today's plan is to follow along this path here. So I'm going to, like I say, I'm just going to drop some signals in as I go. I think I want them on. I think I actually want signals. Where are they? Block signal. There we go. So I'm going to keep the block signals on the inside here, and let's get a signal. Come on. Right about. Oh, sweet geez Louise. Stop flipping like that. Right there. And then we'll come around to the other side here. And we'll get one in right there. Yes, so what is today's plan? Today's plan is to start working on the nuclear plant. Are we going to get nuclear power running up in today? I doubt it. We're probably not even going to get part of the way to get it. Well, we're going to get part of the way. That's kind of, you know, a given. But I don't think we're going to get more than a quarter of the way. It's a bit of a complicated process building nuclear power. Nope, that is going the wrong direction. No, that's not. That is the right direction. Never mind. Because there's going to be a lot involved. So one of the things about with setting up the nuclear power is that I will not have nuclear waste residing within my factory any longer than absolutely necessary, which means before I can fire up the nuclear power plants, I want to make sure I have a place for my nuclear waste, which is converting them into platinum fuel rods. Out of that nuclear waste, which is a whole thing. And then those platinum fuel rods can finally be sunk. Nothing up until that point in the nuclear chain can be sunk. So yeah, so I'm gonna need to do some convoiding, which is so I can get this stuff out of here. All right, so I'm just finishing off here, getting some of these signal blocks in. Yeah, I think that's close enough. And there we go. All right, so other things that I've done here is I've filled in the kind of train coming off of here. So when we put this roundabout in a couple of weeks back, we had this little branch line coming off here. So that now just extends down to where the eventual nuclear power complex will be, and that's going to be spread out across this across the meadow here. Haven't really figured out my organizing principle of how I want to do it yet, beyond the fact that I've got some platforms in here. So we're going to have everything as we do with the other setups, like the elevator city. Really got to give these things proper names. Hey, there's something. If any of you guys, have a good name or anything like that, leave it in the comments or drop it in the chat or what have you. But yeah, so we're going to be using my standard kind of platforms here. I also have a bunch of blueprints that will make some of this a lot easier. So let's have a look at what we've kind of got ready to go. So first thing is that we're, of course, going to need electromagnetic rods here. So I've got Nuka EM rods. You can see here in the description. Let's see if we can't. Nope. I want them back, please. That it's going to give me 2 per minute, which is great if I'm just going to be dumping them into the uranium fuel rod. However, I am going to need some more, so we're going to be running with one of these guys. This one, I believe. Shoot. Sorry. Just spilled my coffee on myself here a little bit. And I'm making it worse. There we go. Well, I now have coffee on my shirt. Jeez, off to a great start here. Doing and talking at the same time. So yeah, this one gives me 4 per minute, and I'm gonna probably be using one of these guys. So this one takes ingots. This one takes ingots, steel, copper, deuterium. What is the difference between these two factories? That one is that one. What is the other one? I think it is no. What is the difference between these two guys? Oh, this one has a building. Exact same factory. One comes with a building. So yeah, we have these guys here. So they're going to be producing 4 per minute. Why do I want 4 per minute? Because the platinum fuel rods are also going to need 4 per minute. So let's have a quick boo here at our Satisfactory modeler. So just give me a sec here to bring that all into your screen here. And boop, there we go. Like power of magic. So yeah, this is kind of the very loose flow here, keeping in mind that the electromagnetic rods are here. Now in my uranium fuel rod, I do have the blueprint for that. That is pretty much just dump this stuff into it and it'll all be self-contained. So I can pretty much get my uranium fuel rods with 2 buildings and a bunch of supplies coming in, which is a whole other thing as well. It's going past here that we start getting a little bit more spicy. So we're going to need to start bringing in nitrogen. We're going to start need to be bringing in sulfur. We're going to need to start bringing in a crap ton more concrete. Now we're going to have concrete here, of course, because we're pretty much sitting on a few limestones as is. But then we need rubber. We need heat sinks. We have a heat sink factory. So there's a lot more that's going to go involved. But essentially, I've got it boiled down to... Sorry, let me get this... I'm going to keep this thing handy. I don't know what I've done. Anyway, let's turn that off so I can do this, so I can do that, so I can see what the hell I'm doing. There we go. Nope. Just organizing my screens off screen, so to speak. That's a funky looking thing. All right. So where was I talking? So yeah, I've got pretty much got it distilled down, and I have used these blueprints in the in my kind of update 8 playback. So we have our uranium fuel rods, we have our plutonium fuel rods. So if we kind of look at this thing and we look at the world's longest scroll here, let's go into edit. We can have a look here. So it's going to require uranium fuel ore. You need to bring in limestone ore, sulfur ore, and water, and that should give me everything I need. So I got to bring in limestone. Which recipe am I using here? Oh, here we go. Then we got to bring in EM rod, and we have to do steel pipe because we're going to need to, yeah. Anyway, all of it kind of works into here. So this is the stuff I need to bring into it. So I need to bring steel over. I need to get my uranium, sulfur. So yeah, it's going to be a bit involved to get that going. Then of course we have our heat sink factory. So if we look at the heat sink factory here, that needs sulfuric acid, it needs rubber, water, coal, bauxite. So this again is a complete self-contained. It takes it from the raw materials, produces its own aluminum inside, and then spits out these heat sinks. And that of course is using the alternate recipe of the heat exchanger. So that kind of just gives me a little bit more bang for my buck. And then we have, yeah, I'm not going to use this one here. So this one, why not use this one? I think it's the quartz on that one. Yeah, because there's silica involved in the alternate recipe on the uranium fuel rods, and I think I want to avoid that one because it's going to be enough bringing this stuff in. So there's a lot of things I'm going to need to do. So here, the plutonium fuel rods, it produces 0.25 per minute. Nitric acid, sulfuric acid. Actually, I am going to need to bring silica over. So yeah, I'm pretty much going to have more confirm more trains and stuff coming into the ground floor underneath here. So again, we're just going to set up the trains all in that space here. I should be able to wrap it around, and yeah, lots of room down here to run to bring train stations in and get the train settled out. That's just a pile of Caterium right there. Okay, so we pretty much can get going right away on this. Now I've been kind of thinking about it for the week. Look, there's our limestone right there. Look, there's some more limestone right there. So yeah, bring in the limestone and whatnot. Some iron. You know, I could transport it in, but I probably do have enough scattered around. Like there's an impure iron, that's an impure iron. Those are normal irons, I believe. So if we look here, we can see normal. That is a normal. These are impures. So I got copper, I've got my iron, I've got my limestone. So I kind of have all that base stuff. I know I could ship those things in, but you know, as is, I'm probably going to be shipping in a bunch of stuff, and I think a big part of that is going to be water. All right. Yes, I am stalling here. Kind of waffling a little bit. Let's start, just finish kind of getting this thing laid out here. So I'll grab some alleyways, and let's get these guys popped into place. Make sure we're on our blueprint pasting mode. And for whatever reason, you keep pasting in too low, but that's easy enough to fix. So we're going to go right there. Yeah, the snap is somehow meddled up here. And we'll put another one there. So I'm just dropping in some alleyways here. Kind of defining the blocks. Like that. Like that. And like that. And there we go. Okay, so the way it kind of, the blueprints work. So if I bring in our alternate electromagnetic rods, and I'm going to use the alternate recipe here. With is the non-building one, because I actually have some nicer walls for that kind of stuff. I think might look a little better if we look somewhere. Where did I save them? Yep, so there's my sulfuric acid factory, which is just my basic 3 refinery type factory. That should probably go into my nuclear. We have our pipe. What am I looking for? There we are. So we have our open foyer. Yeah, so I have these kind of prefab walls and stuff like that, which I think I want to use. Just because it makes it look nicer and kind of changes things up. So that is the big difference between these alternate recipes. Let me do a little editing here. So I'm going to take the sulfuric acid. I'm going to take this. I believe that one. Yeah, that should be all of the stuff I need for my nuclear power. And we're going to drop that in our nuclear. There we go. Apply my changes. So we got steel and pipe. Don't really... Do I need any beams? Not really, but I could probably convert it all into steel pipe. It gives me pretty much everything there. Let's check what else we got here. We've got our sulfuric acid. We have our roof for the building. We have the walls. So we have these walls here that go with those foyers. So I got all the stuff I need to get going, so I should probably just get to it. So now, what I was going to say before I distracted myself is, yes, this one little factory here, this actually can support 2 reactors. So the blueprints are pretty much designed to support 2 reactors. So I'm going to have enough electromagnetic control rods here, and if we look at our... yeah, we look at the balanced kind of recipe, and let's bring that back in. So we look at the recipe here. What I'm going to be producing is 0.4 per minute. So one factory creates 0.4. I only need 0.2 per reactor, so that's going to supply me with 2 reactors worth of electromagnetic rods, which means one EM rod is going to supply 2. So that's why I have the 4. So 2 of them are going to go up to here, and the rest of them will flow down into the plutonium rod to get filtered back into the system. So this is going to represent 2. So if I want 10 reactors, which is kind of my standard number, because that gives me 25,000 megawatts, which is, you know, plenty of power here. So if we look at our current power system or power generation, which I actually haven't looked at in a while. So we're at 27,000 megawatts. We're going to be expanding and basically doubling that with 10 reactors. And I think that's going to be more than enough. And I'm just holding the line. Look at that. But what I like to see is it's a perfectly flat line. And that means that my fuel power is finally stabilized. And absolutely just right at the line here. Yeah, so my total capacity production right now is 27,000 megawatts. So 10 of those at 2.5 megawatts per. So 2,500 megawatts, multiply that by 10, that gives me 25,000 megawatts just with those 10 reactors. And, you know, considering that I'm only using 25,000 megawatts to run the entire world at the moment, and I'm not even using that because that's, you know, a lot of factories are kind of lying quiet. So if we have a look here, what my actual consumption rate is only 15,000. So I'm thinking 10 reactors should do me absolutely fine through the rest of the playthrough. But of course, I'm not going to take that for granted. I am going to make sure I build it in such a way as that it stays modular. Sorry, just give me half a sec here. So I'm thinking 10 reactors. All right, so let's think about where we're going to bring things in. So everything's going to come in underneath, and of course with this we have the double floors here, so we can move things underneath. So it is just a matter of getting this stuff in. And so the question I have for myself is, do I kind of build all the electromagnetic rods in one section, all the next thing in one section, Or do I kind of keep it as a grouping? So, you know, we have the 2 reactors and then we have its support structure per block kind of idea, which I don't mind because it does keep things kind of neat and contained. Supplying the lines might be a little bit more challenging, but, you know, that's just some, you know, running belts and stuff underneath, which is not that big of a deal. And no matter what, I'm going to need to run belts right. So what would happen if I took 2 reactors? And these, of course, will fit just nicely in a 5x5. Because, you know, they're pretty much a 5x5. So if we put this guy over here, make sure he's centered nicely. How do I want him? I want him like spaced evenly between them, so we can go 1 there. And then we can take our second one right there. Over here, of course, we need our uranium fuel rods. So we get 1 uranium fuel rod. There we go. There's the uranium fuel rod. And again, yeah, it's a very tight building here. Where is the flow? So we're gonna go that way. Let's just pull it back to the line there, so we can go put that one there. I ran out of power, falling. Slowly sinking, not really falling if you're just going at a snail's pace. All right, so the next blueprint then is our EM rods here. So again, I'm going to use the alternate variant, and we are going to again move him back to the back of the line here. Maybe I'll nudge him that way too, just to give a little bit of space. And we can get rid of this. I'm going to do the same thing over here, so I'm just going to remove it and put it here. And you can see those orange arrows, so that's all the stuff coming in. So again, I'm just going to move it this way, but then I want to move it that way. So just to have a little bit more space in between these. Now these guys were built on a 4x4 blueprinter, so they have lots of room here, so I should be okay. So if we go now and grab our foyers and walls, so we can actually, I'm going to grab the wall here first. There we go. And we'll just nudge that into place so that can sit there. That one will sit there. Go like that. And we can come over here. You know, we have little pillars on the outside, so I should probably make sure that they're all facing the right way. Do I want them facing in, or do I want them facing out? I think they're supposed to be facing in, actually, because they're going to be giving light to the building. So we'll go like that. Let's go fix this one here. And just make sure those only the light panels are facing inward. There we go. Now we can grab our foyer. Nudge that forward. Okay, so we can see my spacing might need some adjustments here. Definitely. I'm going to let the concrete kind of filter in, so let's move these guys back a little bit here. We make things a little bit interesting, so we're going to take these, we're going to put another street in the way. We're going to grab this platform again, and we can snap it into there. So we can snap that one into there. And yeah, and then we can have the next alley down there. So again, we can just kind of keep going that way. You know, we'll kind of see how it goes. All right, we should have enough concrete to fix this now. So let's push that forward a little bit. And pop you into place right there. And then we can go again, grab our nuclear reactors. Or our power plants. Let's get you guys... Ooh, look at that. Yeah, but you're not centered very well there. Okay, so we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's my dividing line. Still don't know what that other big monster is, so we want to go right there. And we want to go right... Is that right? Nope. Come over by one. Right there. So this would essentially be the more or less one pod here. So we can keep everything running underneath. You know, we only have to worry about the nuclear waste that's going to come out of this thing. But we do have to make sure we're feeding it water as well as our power rods. Water is, I think, going to be one of my trickier things to get a hold of, mostly in the transport and setting it up. So I mean, we have lots of accessibility to water. I think the more challenging thing is just how much water we're going to need to ship over here, and shipping water is just never fun. Okay, so sulfuric acid needs to be produced. So that actually is part of the system. Nope, I just need to bring silver in because that's, again, all being contained within here. I got to remember what needs to go in here. And if we look, we've actually should have labels. So what do I need? I need uranium to go in here. Deuterium ingots, so that's going to have to be brought in. We have sulfur. We can take that sign out of there. Coming in through here. This is where we got to bring in our silica, our EM rods from over there. This is where our limestone. Then we have our steel pipe. What's this sign over here? And our concrete. That's our limestone. It needs to go in there. Our limestone was, did I see my limestone? Yeah, right there. So everything's nice and labeled. I have done a little bit of work, like on this one here. So he needs copper ingots. Yeah, everything's ingots, so we need copper ingots. We need... It's just, I need power over here is what I need. Just a little too, yeah, just a little too far for those tracks. Okay, I need power over here. Let's take care of that need right away. I do have alleys, foundation stair alley, which is foundation surface floor. Foundation alley, there we go. And just so I can kind of close this off. There we go. There we go. Okay, so just to get some power over here. We can grab our power from, I guess I don't need to be in train building mode anymore. Let's grab our power from here and just run some temporary lines so I can float around. Like right there. There we go. Okay, so what do we need to bring over here? We need to bring copper ingots, steel ingots. Where's the next input? It's around here somewhere. Let's take the walls out of here. I know I need more than that. What do I need for my electromagnetic rods? So that's copper sheet, copper sheet. That's making me my steel pipe. That's the rods. You are stators. Quick wire. Quick wire. Copper sheet, quick. Yeah, there is not a bit of iron over here. It is just Caterium, and it is just steel ingots. Okay. Well, that's entertaining. Yeah, we got the low bridge. Why can't I get through here? Very odd. But we got fancy stairs over here as well. And I love that sound. I love that sound. Okay, do I... Okay, let's... Yeah, I'm going to keep this wall out of here for now as well. I don't need these guys here. They'll be part of the other system. There we go. Okay. Oh, that's why I had the walls there, is just to mount this thing here, because in the good old days, if we won a nice 90s, we didn't have the fancy tools that we do now. Okay. So this is the basic infrastructure that I'm going to need to get everything there. I just need to start bringing stuff in, and that's, I think, going to be the main focus today. So 30 minutes in, and now we can start looking. Now, the last thing I'm bringing in is the uranium. I'm not irradiating this place until it's good to go. But I do want to get as much of this other stuff done as possible, which means I'm going to need to set up Caterium ingots. I need to set up my steel ingots. Now my steel pipe. Where do they get to? That was up here? Where was the steel pipe being made? Nope, that would have been down here. So I'm making 22 per minute. I don't think I'm going to be able to split too much off. You know, again, I just need to bring... All right, so I actually need 8.4 steel pipes per minute here. Yeah, I can set up a steel pipe factory. I don't know why I didn't contain it in there. Probably because I didn't have the space. By the way, when I say that this is built 2 years ago, so whatever reasoning is a vague memory back then, or now. Okay, so where to freaking start, man? Okay, so I need coal. Ironically, almost everything here is somewhere else, including things like the sulfur and the silica, so that's quartz. All right, I'm going to take a quick 5 or less, and then when we come back, we can start getting this stuff ready. So I'll be right back, guys. Don't go away. Okay, so let's start looking at getting the first of the things in. So yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot to do. But sometimes the only thing you can do is get to it. So what I'm going to do here is I've already actually spotted and kind of worked out how I want to get one of the kind of non-normal ingredients, and by that I mean things that aren't iron, limestone, copper, blah blah blah, and that's the sulfur. So sulfur is always kind of an interesting one to get acquired. It's just they never make it easy here. So I am flying along the track here, and I'm flying along for a reason, is because this is an expressway and I need to stop about halfway down the line, and there's not a real easy way to do that right now. And this is actually, I think, the solution I have for my sulfur is probably going to help also with my water, and mostly in the sourcing of the water. So, you know, we're beside a giant body of water, which won't take much to just throw out a bunch of pipelines. But what I've got going started here is I've got started the idea of doing a little bit of an overpass out. So the track is flat right now, but that won't stay long. I am going to bring it, elevate it, so it clears across here. And it's going to come over to this kind of flat area here that I'm going to clear out. Because my sulfur, if we grab our scanner here, is just up there. There we go. We got a little ping right there. So it's basically right there. So what I want to do is I'm just going to throw a conveyor line down the cliff across here, and then we'll have our train station to pick up the sulfur. Oh, look at that. I didn't even realize there's a pure iron node right there. It's a pure iron node right there too. Holy cow, pure iron nodes. Cool. So that actually kind of works out in my favor a little bit. But additionally, what that also does means is that I can probably... I'm going to land right in front of these guys. Ha ha ha! Bye! See ya. Let's run right past them. Is that I can easily drop... Ow! Water down to here, and then pipe it up and pump it up to there. Because then I could just go and get as much water as I want until I run into the world end. Okay, let's get back up here. So this is... Yeah, I think this is going to solve multiple problems. It's a nice little kind of takeout here, or you know, open area. All I need is enough room for some train stations, and I need to be able to get my track over top, which is, again, I got the pretty good space here to do that. So let's pop that up, get back into our jetpack here. Like I said, I just kind of started figuring out where I want the track to flow. And I think we can get it around the corner here. We are going to have to elevate things, so that's going to be the first thing I need to do, is to build up that elevation. And then we can also split these guys apart here now. Yeah, let's not do that just yet. Actually, I do need to do that. So I need to get rid of these guys here first. So we'll actually put in a transfer station. Either I'll use the... hypertube the Y's to kind of determine which direction I go, whether I stay or do I pop over there, or I just might split these guys apart and we'll just leave the kind of transfer point here. I kind of like the idea of it being more of an expressway going through and then having a different station coming in. But, you know, we'll kind of worry about that a little bit later. For now, I just need to get a way to get through here. So we'll grab curve, and get our hypertube entrances. So there we go. So I can now transport through. Now, to keep me from just skipping across the ground and getting sucked up in there, reason I wanted to move all of this is now I can go here and grab my little pillars. We'll grab my small concrete pillar here, and we're gonna go up That's the center line. So that would be where the train wants to go through. So I'm just trying to, get a nice little path here. That's not going to be too interfering. Yeah, so I do need this one here. Yeah. It's always kind of the more challenging point is just getting that first initial start going. It's like anything, right? You're pushing a car, the first hardest point is just breaking that initial inertia. Kind of the same thing here. All right, I want to make sure that I have enough room for the train to get underneath. So there we go. And I want it to be reasonably minimally in that height. So I can drop this guy down a little bit and we can scooch it over. So I just want to see. So I need that much clearance. And so that would be right about there. Yeah, I think that works. And then we can get rid of these pokies here. There we go. Of course, I got floaties now, so we'll have to drop these guys down just a smudge. And then drop these guys down just a smudge. Let's turn that off. Turn my caps lock on. And as always, everything here is subject to change as I move along. Like, these guys are just out of position here, so let me fix these quickly. So I want them right on that corner right there. And one down, drop it down a little bit. And then we want the next one right there. Drop it down a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna leave you there momentarily. I want to now take some foundations here. And we are going up by, what, 2.5? So I should only need to go up by 1 here. And then if we put a ramp down, 1 meter ramp. There, and a 1 meter ramp there. Now I can get rid of this stuff here. Keep the ramp. Lose the gun, keep the cannoli. Yes, I'm gonna have to move you as well. So we're gonna break all of this stuff out like that. Then we can grab our track. I'm gonna do it from here all the way. It's now getting everything to kind of move the way I want it to. And I think I'm going to have to do is put a little 1 meter section there. And look at that, I'm back to track building. Bring you up to here. And I'm going to see if I can't get you to wrap around. This might be a little bit awkward. Come on, cooperate, man. Yeah, I guess I need to go to there. Okay, so I'll take it to there. Now I should be able to get you to connect to there. Yep, there we go. So Choo-Choo can get back on. So this is the return line here, so that means the Choo-Choo can go this way. and then head off in their merry little way. This line here is if Choo Choo wants to come from here, it needs to be able to get up to here, and that's where this guy comes into play. So we're going to flip you around, get you an anchor point here. Let's get you a destination, which is going to be this little short section here to kind of get over the transition from slope to non-slope. Oh, this is awkward as hell. Okay, well, no help for it. Sometimes you just got to build that little extra piece so that you can force the splines to do what you want to do, because you can always get rid of that little extra piece. All right, let's get this guy locked into the track over here. Gonna find a nice way to do it. I think it's time to get rid of these trees here. I can see what the hell I'm doing. I don't need these. And I don't need that. Okay, let's grab that pillar. Scoop it down to the ground, grab this pillar here. Scoop it down to the ground. I should probably deal with him. There we go. Okay, let's grab our smaller pillar. And I do actually think I'm going to use that as my kind of guide here, because I do think I want... No, I need it basically at a 45. I had it all figured out before. Should have left my guide tracks in place. Okay, well, let's just put some guide tracks back in. That's what I need to do. So we need to come somehow from here. We can wrap around to, ooh, yeah, there we go. We can wrap it around to here. Perfect. Okay, that'll work. Because now I can just do this. We'll actually kind of maybe relax it just a touch. I should probably get it up to the right height. So that's grabbing one of these ramps, which is over here. Ramp. That's too big. That should be just a nice little gentle slope. think I'm gonna redo this one here, just so we can come to this foundation like that, and then we can go over to there. How does that look? That looks terrible. It's all about controlling the tension. I'm gonna come from here to there, then we can go up to there. Yeah, and we'll do the same thing on this side here. Let's see how that works. So we'll go to there, and then we'll come from here. No, we gotta relax that a little. I'm not super concerned about the other side, obviously, because the other side is going to be easy. There we go. And then we can bridge across and bridge across. Clear out the foliage. And fire in the hole. Look, he tried to get away. Fire in the hole. Okie dokie. So then, good. Train come through here. Track go this way. Now we just need to figure out where the track is going to join up to here. Again, I'll just do some kind of rough line tossing. Like from there, we can come all the way up to... How tight is that? Really bad down here. Don't want that down here. So what I'm going to do is grab a half platform. Like that. I'm going to grab another half platform. Let's say down here. I'm going to change it up to concrete, because then I can grab this pillar, and I'm going to put the pillar right there. So what I can do is make it like a little off-ramp. That's too high up. I wonder if I can drop the track down that way. Yeah, I wonder if I can nudge the track down. H? No. So if I want it to sit better, or at that height, what I'll need to do is that. Let's actually bring this platform down to its height. Just like that. Okay, nice temporary platform there where we can do our off-ramp. I want my off-ramp going that way. So I'm going to throw in a temporary track here so that I can come through here. And we can split off right there. So that's a return line that goes off in that direction there. Yeah, definitely going to have to do a lot of signaling. Oh, there is a signal here. So, I mean, we got block signals going so far, which is fine. But I am going to have to change up a bunch of my signaling. Okay, so that's that side. This side, you're going to do the same thing, except I'm going to, again, just have a nice straight piece of track there, so I can... Oop, good. That's getting dark. The lights just came on. So we can split right from there into there. And this will come up to here. And I'm thinking nice relaxed ramp from here down to there. How does that look? Yeah, just need a little bit of foundational cleanup. And we're going to do the same thing on this side here. And then you can go all the way back to there. Oops. It didn't click. How does that look? We're already coming up a bit too high here, so we're going to have to fix this. I'm going to come up by half a meter, or down half a meter. There we go. That should be the right height now. That. So now, take my track. Back to there. Making sure we're not gaining any height this time. Nope. Oh, pardon me. How short can I make you? And what flows better? So I can go all the way like that. Yeah, I think that'll work. And then when I take these guys out, as long as this pillar still rests there, I think we should be okay. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. All right. Let's get the trees out of the way. You know what's hilarious is I probably could just shoot through there and still end up in the wrong place, so we need to put a barricade. I think we just put a little bit of a fence right there. No. Modern railing, I'll just drop modern railing like right there. And that just keeps me so that when I come shooting out of here, I could just, I get interrupted before I get to there. Okay, so that gets our track up to here. Like that. And then I can get rid of that piece. And start building out the rest of these foundations here. So we're going to go like that. We're going to go out like that. We'll come forward a couple of points. And like that. Okay. We can connect, and didn't know you could do that, but apparently we can do that now. Okay, so that gives me access to the track. So train comes through here. It can either go that way or it can come up here. Train coming from the other direction. It can either come up through here, but they all join up onto this one. And that should be a good old standard J connection. I'm a little more, you know, more than just your standard kind of roundabout. But I thought in this case, because I do have to go up to a little bit of hill, and just to have something different, I'm only going to come out this one side here. So I thought, you know what the heck? Okay, now I actually think I want to bring in one of my normal sets of foundations here. Hey, you. Got something for you. Whoop. Got something here for you, too. There you go. Yep. So I'm going to grab. Is that it? Nope. Is that it? Nope. Is that it? Nope. No. Where the hell did I put all my foundation stuff? Where did I put all my foundation stuff? I don't think I put my foundation stuff anywhere. Okay, well, never mind. Oh, that's all my aluminum. Totally squirreling myself today. Okay, so let's get into some blueprinties here. Let's get our standard floor. I think that's going to be over here. Concrete service floor 5x5L is the one I'm looking for. Here we go. Concrete, service floor hall. Concrete service hall. What is a concrete service hall? I don't even remember what this is. Oh. Hallway. That's what that is. Where did I put you? No, I think I'm in the wrong category here. Hang on. Uh, 5x5, one wall. There we go. All right, we're going to put that in place, but before we do, I am going to take another quick break here. And we'll get this continue going. So be right back. sorry about that. Yeah, coffee's working overtime this morning, and yeah, tummy not happy. Okay, we were getting the next little bit of stuff in here. Okay, so now about these stations. So the sulfur, I'm probably only going to need one station. Water, though, I'm going to need a lot more. So I have to think about how I want to move around this area here and clear the land as I kind of go here. Okay, so I don't think I'm ever going to draw on those iron nodes, so I'm not going to worry about them, but I do need to worry about the sulfur, and I need to worry about water, because I think this is where I'm going to have my water station. So when the trains get to this point, they're going to, of course, need to turn around, but I do also going to need to get them to go to their respected station. So see, how do I want to do this? All right, I was going to put in my 5x5. I think we'll start with a street. 5x2, so one of these guys here. Let's see what our height is. Need to come up by half. And scooch over to there, like that. Then we can grab the 5x5L, which just means lights. So these ones just have lights on the bottom. I actually don't need the 5x5L, do I? Yeah, I just use the 5x5L. Okay, so that one can go there. This one can go here. And then we can just snap across. And look at that, I am actually running out of concrete. Okay. So train comes in here. It wants to get the sulfur. How does it get to the sulfur without, you know, pulling through the water station? Well, it's got to go down a little bit here. So what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of visualizing how I want things to flow. And I think I'm going to do is let's just push this all the way through here. Like that. I might even be too low here. No, I should still be okay. Hey, little fella. Don't worry about me. I'll try to kill you. Where'd you go? Don't be there. Okay, cool. Might have to go get some, actually get some concrete. Yeah, so I'm gonna... Man, I've been going through some concrete. Okay, well, let's take a quick trip home. We'll take the normal route. I got a broken signal here now for obvious reasons because tracks are kind of crisscrossing all over the place weirdly. Let's hop into this tube here and let's take a quick run back to the main base and see if we can't grab a few extra bags of the concrete, just because my dimensional depot is not keeping up. I could actually, while I'm there, I'm going to put a second one in. Let's see what happens if I put 2 in. I want to see if that'll increase my upload speed. Because that's really what the limiting. It's not that I don't have the concrete, it's just that it's not uploading quite fast enough for some of these larger projects. Okay. Well, at least we always get a nice little tour of the place whenever we do this. Quartz will come from back there, which is one of the reasons why I built all the new bridges. Okay, yeah. I think I have access to pretty much everything I need once I get this sulfur and water station in. And then I can start focusing a little bit more on the nuclear side of things. And I really got to do something with the floats. That phase when I kind of just run through and start finishing off buildings and stuff is one of my more favorite ones. It's a bit tedious, which is why I tend to put it off, because, you know, it is a pure aesthetic thing. But it will be nice to have it done so I don't see just floating platforms. You know, like there, that one end there just feels wrong. It all needs to be supported. It needs to be held up. As we come up to the top here, we'll see kind of similar. Are you getting hung up here for some reason? Yeah, I might have to put another signal. You know, these big columns here just give it a little bit more solid mass feel. And then one more time. Make sure we take the left-hand path, which by default we should be already switched to. Yep, there we go. And smash our face into a wall. Yay! All right. The hell was making that noise? All right, Mr. Concrete. Let's see what happens if we try to get another dimensional depot on you. I don't know why I went this way. I need to go through here and go through here. I apparently have taken away some floor room space. Let's put those back. Don't really have the room here. Oh, I can't put it there. Let's stick out the roof, though. I don't really want it to do that. I mean, it is essentially the size of a small cargo container. I'm going to try something here. I'm going to see if I can actually get some use out of the new splitters. So if that goes into there, and then I grab our new fancy splitters. I should. Oh, what? Are you kidding me? Must be built. It is on a lift. How can you not? Yeah, these I'm not. I don't know about these things, man. Like, they don't actually line up with anything. Like, how do you not have them line up with your actual conveyors? Okay, you do actually line up with your conveyors. That's fine. Okay, there we go. So what am I uploading now? I'm uploading there, and am I uploading here? I am uploading there as well. Okay, so what does that do to my inventory? Concrete is there. Does it just combine the concrete? It actually does. Huh. Well, I'm guessing that... I mean... Yeah, I'm not getting any real benefit for it, though. Where am I? Am I uploading 240 per minute? Because that would be what the outcome should be. Okay, well, you know what? Let's just see how it goes. For now, I'm just going to throw some concrete into my inventory. And let's head back to the construction site. And drop down and through here. And we'll take the second bridge. Now, did I don't know. Let's find out. I don't know if I put a junction in there on the hypertube. I'm pretty sure I did. We're gonna find out. What do I got? I've got... Oh, yeah, I've got one of these guys. Perfect. So we can take... this is the other bridge we built last week. Just your kind of standard little bit of a iron arch bridge idea. All right, then we can take this route. It's a bit of a drive. On the road again, in the tube I'm flying far again. Frame rate dropping off like a son of a bitch. What's going on with the frame rate? Yeah, what is going on here? Why do you keep doing this? Like, is it a buffering issue? Is it because I'm going too fast that you can't load the world in time? Like, I gotta start paying attention to when it happens, and I don't know if it is just related to the hypertube. Like, that's rough, man. That is unplayably rough. I want to see what I can... Let's actually find out how we can get and look at our frame rate. Satisfactory. Show frame rate. Okay, so I think if I go stat FPS, oh, there it is. Yeah, 14 frames per second. 13 frames per second. No, I don't think so. All right, I'm gonna have to do a quick exit here. We'll call this the next one. So this will be... No, this is episode... This guy here. Let's get to the main menu. And log back into the game. Yeah, all of a sudden it's just suddenly back down to 14, and it's really annoying. Okay, and yeah, see, that's what we should be getting. A solid 16 frames per second. And it's right there in the you can see the frame rate is right here. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah, there we go. We can bring our pointer. It's right there. So yeah, we're back up to 60 frames per second, which is exactly where I should be. Okay, let's get back to the sulfur. We'll take a quick trip across the bridge. Not sure, did I? Yeah, I signaled everything. We did that right at the beginning here. Yeah, still solid 60. And no, I'm not running anything at 120 or anything like that. I find 60 is just fine. Honestly, anything at 30 and above is bonus to me. I'm old. Okay, so now we want to go this way. Let's make sure our tube stop works. I think I need another booster between there and there. That was a slow segment. All right, almost at our J stop. Probably should get that off the track. Okay, so let's finish getting our platforms in for our stations. And let's make sure we're doing snapping here. Can I have my snap? That's not where I wanted my snap in any way, shape, or form. That's where I want my snap. I'm gonna live with that. Not like I have much choice. And then we're gonna come out this way. We're gonna come out this way. There. And hopefully what I have envisioned will actually... Can I start levitating again? Thank you. Levitating, flying. Okay, so I think what I'm going to need is enough room to have the stations in. So we're going to need one station on this side. So let's go to our transport here. Let's get our train station. And I'm thinking I'm going to put you right here. Now I'm going to have a rock kind of going into some of my stuff, but if I can do this in such a way that it doesn't suck, that'll be okay. Maybe I can even get away with it. Can I come forward? How much further? Because I need to even leave enough room for the track to kind of bend back in. And I don't want it coming into this point if I can avoid it. Oh, actually, maybe I can use that point. Okay, well, let's drop our train station here. And then we can get our freight platform here. Or here. Take the freight platform out of there. Get back to a train station. Like that. Yeah, okay. I think I'm going to something here. And then up here, we're going to put in a track segment. We're going to wrap around a corner. And we can't go there, so we have to come all the way out to here. It's all the way into there. We're going to come down to... Oh, that's right. I can aim these guys and turn them now. I keep forgetting I can do that. So we can take that one to there. That goes to there. This gets around to here. And turn the corner right there. And then that goes into there. And this guy. We'll just do that. That way we kind of, gloss over the fact that there's a giant chunk of rock here. In fact, let's elevate the ground and make it look very intentional here. That, and then we'll go around like that. I think I want a half foundation here. And then we'll put that one there. Oh, nope. Let's sample the track. Okay, so for this little hill section here, we want to start off flat. We're going to go up to right there. I'll stretch across to there. Come down to here, and then we'll just join the track up wherever we can. Which, don't like that. I want it to be here, so we're going to go like that. Okay, so train can go through here, connect up, and then jump across here. And then getting back, we do a nice 45 right here. We find our join point right here, and boom. That is sulfur. Now, what are we going to call this? We're going to call this the West Coast Sulfur. So we're going to go West Coast Sulfur. I think I spelled it right this time. I never can be sure. And West Coast Sulfur. Okay, so the train can come through here, and then it can pick whatever line it wants to go through that way. A train can go through here. We can put our water station. Heading down that way so we can get a bunch of stations in here. In fact, to make life easier, I might even do something like this. That way I can have a really long station, and that'll get me far enough that way. Of course, make sure it's going to point that way. Now, I know the station shouldn't be at the end, but you have to put a station down before you can put a freight platform down. So now we go to a fluid platform, and then we can just start dropping fluid platforms here. 1, 2, let's see how many I can get in here. 3, 4, 5. You are a little bit out of whack here. Because I want to line you guys up with the other stations here. That'll be here. I'm going to move you forward. And bring you over. Yeah, that's proper there. There we go. Now I can grab my fluid platforms. Stop reversing it, please. I want them all on one side. And then we connect our track to there. Okay, and I got enough room for another one. So that gives me
5 water stations, and it gets me the single sulfur, but that's okay. I don't think I'm going to need much more than that. And then you can just join up back into here. All right, how does this work? Not at all, because anyone coming from this side, which is going to be what we're actually doing, cannot access these tracks. And you are definitely too close, so we're going to have to take one of you guys out of there. We're going to have to take you out of there, as we are going to have to try and snake you over, so that will work. Okay, good. Signaling. Pass signal. Block signal. Block signal. Wrong direction. Ignore the little barking dog. I usually do. Can we get you to flip around, please? Okay, something they've done again. There's certain things though with these comes to these signals, they're not helping. Like making it difficult to pick which side of the bloody track the damn things should be going. Like it's a paper thin line. Okay. Still haven't separated these guys. We need a pass signal here. I need a block signal there. Like, come on, flip to the other side, please. Like, the arrow's not flipping. Come on, get to the other. Why? Why will you not point in the right way? You will. Ish. There we go. This has to be a completely separate block. Pardon me. Are you 2 separate blocks? You should be. Who the hell knows anymore? Flip to the, like, yeah, it'll flip back and forth just fine on a junction, but when you're trying to freehand place it, it is just a colossal pain in the neck here. Mouse wheel doesn't do anything. E and R do nothing. Like, I literally have to just... And I don't want to have to do this constantly. They used to work a lot better for placing, but the more they kind of featured it, or put features in, the worse it seems to have gotten. Okay, any signal still having an issue? Of course, you guys are all still having issues. Because you're all the wrong colors. So we are going to need a lot more signaling. So this is going to be a block signal coming in here. If it'll actually place down. You should be a pass signal because you're a diverging line. You should be blocked signal. I've already got one there. I do need to separate these guys here. So we'll put that there. We're going to need a pass signal down here. Do you need a block signal in here? Okay, that's got those guys. These guys are still a bit problematic, so we are going to have to separate these greens. So you go that way. You go that way. Okay, who's the problem maker here? Am I feeling like you are? Seriously, dudes. Like, what is the problem here? Don't be... I'm really starting to think that these kind of foreign ones really aren't the best idea. What I mean by that is the ones that these two butt into each other. So I'm going to change this up a little. Like that. If I put that little bit of separation in there, how does that do? And then I grab my block signal, put in the pass signal. Yeah, you're fine. That clears that up. That clears. Yeah, that was the one problem. So keep that in mind, is that when you have tracks going head to into those four ways, that seems to be where my problems, and that's the same thing that down at the roundabouts I think is giving me the grief. All right, what is your problem? Your problem is that you need to be separated right here, so we can go through. All green. I could probably get rid of that one. Yep. And I'm going to move this one a little bit further up. Like right there. Twice here. Like right about there. I think I can probably get rid of you as well. Get you out of here. Get a pass signal and get you onto there. Yeah, I didn't think you'd like that. I do need this one right there. Ah! Why? Fine. Even better. Screw you. That's all one section. It's got to be the closest here. But you know what? That's working. Okay. Cool. Now, hypertube. Hypertube goes there. We're good for that. We don't need to worry about that. That's good there. All right, let's go look at this sulfur. So that is right up there. Yeah, I'm too high up to be able to use the jetpack here. Or not moving forward enough. Actually, why am I doing this the hard way? Can I have my jetpack hoverpack, please? Thank you. Instead of doing it the hard way, I'm going to throw some temporary power lines. I mean, I'm going to need to get power up here anyway, so not really an issue. I would like to have a place to put this down, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do it easily, so I'm going to have to do that. Okay. Now, can I put my power pole down? Yes, I can. There we go. Now I can fly. Like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle. Let your spirit carry me. Okay, so, Mr. Stolper, we are going to put a Mark III on top of your face. Like that. We're going to grab a foundation. We're going to line you up a little bit better with your center line. That's the grid. That's the grid. Yeah, sure. Sure, that should still... Hopefully... I don't actually have to move the miner, do I? I do want to move it, though. Yep, you still work sitting there. Perfect. Okay, you're going to be pulling up 480 for now. That's fine. We can easily increase you up to 720. Okay. So now, to drop it down... Actually, yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna need to go, let's say we go here. We turn this way. How much further do I have to come out? A little bit further. Go to vertical just so I can drop that down. Yeah, that'll work. So then I drop that down to there, and then we can, yeah. I should probably do this with walls. Zoop a wall down to there. Let's zoop a wall down to there. Dun, dun, dun. What am I looking for? I am looking for... there we go. Sorry, just had to look for something I was missing on my other screens here. Because I like my wall of monitors. Like the monitor. Like the monitor. More monitor for me, make it better. This does not work as a song. you. Okay. Yeah, so we can drop down through here. Let's get our mining hut in place. That is right in here. Mining hut, there you are. Thank you. And let's get you positioned that we can figure out how much more foundations I need. I think I want to come back a little bit more. Like right there. How does that line up? Right there. That lines up just fine. Because now, go through here and across like that. So just to give you an idea how bad the YouTube Studios update on the live stream is. Let's see if it'll show. It's just getting past where I reloaded from way back on the bridge. Like, real accurate updating there, folks. Like, see where I am? I'm back on the bridge here. That's when I had to load it because the frame rate dropped. Like, seriously. How was that useful at all? Okay, that's there, that's there. I don't think I need to drop down here, so I'm just going to let these foundations go across. Like that. In the meantime, we can now start thinking about running a power line. So, we'll use our light stands here. Right here. Put a light stand there. Put one there. And we'll put one there. Before I delete that, I want to make sure I have a new power line coming up here so I can continue to hover. Oh, that is not right. That is not right. We want to come up to there. Then we can put our light stand right here. Like that. Okay. Now, moving up this way, so getting the power to come all the way up to the top, we're going to need some walls. I can get rid of all of these foundation blocks now. So we are just going to use walls. Like that. Oh, that's kind of a neat idea. Yeah, why don't I just keep that idea going here? Instead of having the solid block causeway or walkway, we hollow it out. I've got lots of room here. Height-wise. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's do this. We're doing it. See? We're doing it. There we go. Okay, so I want to grab a foundation, 1 meter, which is going to go to here, and then you're going to just go all the way to there. Then we're going to go down to here and just bip across. And then we can just bip across here. Because we do need to move up and down. Oh, to move up and down, don't we? We need to move the power wire up and down. How do we move up and down in a convenient, easy manner? Well, we can either use a hypertube or we can be fancy. And I want to be fancy. I'm going to put a foundation there, and we're going to go look in our transport. Because in our transport, we have the elevator. Because then, easy to run this guy all the way up to the top here. And we'll go right to there. You can take these two pieces of wall out, to be honest. Because they can go to there. And then what this gives me is I can take one of these. Let's get you flipped to the other side. Take it through to the other side. That goes to there. That goes to there. All right. Now I can get rid of... No, I can't because I don't have power down here. But what I should be able to do... And you know what? No, I'm going to leave that there quickly or temporarily still. Because now I have all kinds of ugly ass... Oh, that's problematic for me. I need to hide those. I need to hide a lot of things. So many sins. So many sins. Must hide sins. There we go. Oop, nope. It needs to be connected to there again, and then I can grab one of these and move you down to like that, and then we can put that back in place. Okay. That's taking care of that part of the weird clipping. Now I do need to get power run over to there. I also need to make sure I have like walkways and the like. I might have to fix the elevator up a little bit, but you know, that's no big deal. Yeah, I'm just a little bit too low here. That's fine. Those guys don't quite line up, which is fine as well. So we will use other means to help blend everything together. Getting the power to go across the track is pretty straightforward. That should just be one of those. To here. Like that. We can grab one of our light stands. Like that. Yeah, I completely stopped talking, didn't I? Watch focus. Watch focus. Okay, stairs. Let's get some stairs going down like that. That looks like hot dog's breath. How can I fix this? We can fix this with a beam. It goes from there. It's the right height, right? I want to keep it vertical. We are starting. Good morning to you, or afternoon, as the case may be. The factory is getting nucleafied. So right now, what we are doing is we are getting in some new stations here. So we're kind of on the west coast. The kind of main high oil power plant is over that way. The new nuclear site is that way. And right now, I am tapping into a sulfur node up there because we're going to need sulfuric acid for our nuclear waste and processing. So today, so far, we've built this out. We put these platforms in, and right now I'm just trying to run a power line up to the top where the drill is waiting. Of course, I am using an elevator to do some transport. They're not quite on the same grid here, so I'm just now kind of fixing this up. And I think that catches you up. All right. I love the nudge. We can nudge this guy kind of into place here and kind of fill in that angle. I'm hoping a little bit, maybe come over a bit more. Yeah, with the beam. So I'm just using a beam here to kind of help tie these guys together a little bit more. Like something like that. And then now if I grab this, drop it down a couple or one, scooch you over and come back this way. Maybe if I come back like that. Actually, that works fine. Oh, I hit the wrong button apparently. Like that. How does that look? Does that look okay? Does that tie in together all right? Sure. And to disguise the other, we'll just kind of do a platform or a rail support extension here. Just kind of build a big concrete block right underneath that. Just like that. Okay, so now walkway goes through here. We can now run our power to the elevator. So let's grab our blueprints here. I think we're just going to... actually, I'm going to use the 45 light stand. And connect you to there. And then we can connect you to another light stand. This time we will use just the standard non-45. And come on, get into place, like right there. And back. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. There we go. Elevator has power. And music. Okay, time to go up.
Hum la 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 hum hum la la hum la 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 hum hum la la do 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 la la do do hum hum do.
Thank you, Ada. I'm looking right now. I'm shooting for 10 nuclear power plants. I haven't figured out how much ore that is exactly. How much ore is that? Come to think of it, that's a good question. So 2 requires 40. Maybe a couple hundred per minute. It doesn't need to be a big power plant. So one of the things that are kind of looked at here is if we look at our current power, we're currently producing between all the power plant, the various power plants. So that's the oil ones. 2,700 megawatts, pretty straightforward. 10 nuclear power plants will give me 25,000 megawatts on top of the 27,000, so it'll essentially double my power. And as everything, I am doing it modular because modularity makes big projects easy. So it'll be pretty straightforward. And if we kind of look off in the distance there, let's see if we can't. What can we spot? We can see the bridge. Oh, there they are. You can just see kind of the first setup that we have. Oh, I ran out of electricity. I went too far. I strayed. There we go. And I lost it. So that's basically a nuclear. Can I just please stay flying? Here, let me give myself another power line here. There. Okay. Let's see if I can't spot them again. I am right at the edge of my power. Oh, maybe I can sneak around this side. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now I can show you. All right, so that's kind of basically a pod. So the one factory here is to make the electromagnetic rods, and just basic stuff goes in one side, and 4 EM rods get spit out the other side, which then goes over to here. What that is my nuclear fuel rods, my uranium fuel rods. Again, you can see by all the little white signs there. That's all the resources that get dumped directly into that, and out comes 4 per minute, or 0.4 per minute, uranium fuel rods, which then go into 0.2 and 0.2. There's a couple of more things I need to bring in to support this, which is mostly just like, iron ingots, or not even iron ingots. I need copper ingots. Pardon me. Deuterium ingots and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how I'm going to do my power, and then it's easily expandable. So that's where we're at so far. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm still going to try to get the sulfur here. So we've got our sulfur over here. We need to hollow out underneath so that we can move the sulfur to this little causeway here. So I'll use 1 meter foundations to fill in the floor. Like that. And then we have to go into the building. Grab our floor hole. Now, of course, nothing ever lines up on these nodes here, so I'm going to have to come out a little bit to there. I can put in my lift and toss that into there. All right. So now we can put another lift right there. Bring our belts out. Stupid hover pack. And make sure I'm on straight. You can go now. And over to here. I can't see what I'm doing. Go away, trees. There we go. All right. Cool. And there we go. And now I can grab this belt here. There. I'll leave the Mr. Slug alone. I don't need him. And let's kind of try to protect some nature. Now, once I get down here, should start thinking about this as well. We're going to do basically the same kind of idea. So I'm going to need 1 meter foundations that go to there. I don't want to lose this alignment, so I'm just going to temporarily put a meter foundation there so I can remove this guy. I can drop him back underneath like that. There we go. Mr. Tree. Sorry. And we'll leave that open temporarily. That means... yeah, we can do that. And then I can put the wall here. And run this wall up. And up. And up to there. And there we go. Okay, so that's a long drop. That is more than 1 lift's worth of a long drop. So the irony is I'm going to have to put this one back in temporarily, because I'm going to grab my floor hole. Now, the distance I have to go currently is more than one of our conveyor lifts can actually do. I would have to put a second conveyor lift in. However, let's get that connected up. However, if we go all the way down here, lose the tree, and we come all the way down to... I want to avoid those rocks there. And it's going to be hidden, so clipping is fine and whatnot, but just to kind of be safe. So if I just try to drive now a lift, so I'll grab a lift here, and try to pull it down, that's as far as it'll go. That's its maximum distance I can do. However, if I have something for it to go into, like a floor hole, so I'm just kind of lining up where that is. It's on the line there, and it's okay. So we just hit the right freaking button, man. And we drop down to the bottom here. And we put another floor hole right there. Now when I grab this guy here, and we pop him into place, and then I just look at that, it should connect. Now, if it's not connecting, that means I need to get the guy underneath here first. Because it has to have actual valid targets. Come on, get up there. Why are you not doing what I want you to do? Are you plugged in at the top? Probably not. Did I plug you in? Yeah, I plugged you in. Why are you not going all the way down? Are you not lined up? Oh, that's why. User error. Yeah, user error. Okay, so let's do this the right way now. Good Lord. So we'd be on this side of the line to this side of the line to there. Now we can go all the way up to the top, and we can have a single conveyor. Yes, that's what I want. Okay, now down below here, and the reason I just kind of came out up there is now I'm going to need to shift things over a little bit to right here, like that. Yes, it was. Thank you, Dragon. Dragon Lock. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's always going to be user error. 99% of the time, it's going to be user error, which is me. Okay, let's run this over here. Do I want to go all the way down to the ground with these? No, I want to leave. I think I'm going to leave that bit open, but I am going to run my foundations all the way down to there. Yeah. Yeah. We can come across through here. Close you off there. You can run you to here. Just laying out the kind of the flow here to get the sulfur over to its appropriate station. And almost as perfect too. I think I'm trying to be clever here. That's never a good thing. I'm always thinking, you know, gotta shape it, right? There's gotta be some form of shaping to it. Can I lift you up just by doing that? Yes, I can. Excellent. So we can put that one there. Need a half wall. Or partial wall. Put you down to there, and then I can grab a 4 all the way down to the floor, scoot you along a little bit. This is why I really wish we had half walls, but that'll work. Because then I can flow you back to here. Let's get rid of that. Grab our foundation. I'm gonna go with 1 meter through there. You should be able to sneak through right through here, especially if I kind of clean some of this stuff out. Like this. Yeah, that doesn't affect anything up there. Okay. Need to connect across. Little sneak tunnel. That's what that is. That's a little sneak tunnel. And I grab a roof. A roof. And we move you over to this side here. And then we can put a 1 meter there. And I guess I'll just run a flat roof all the way to here. And now we can get our put walls in. Just like Mama used to make. Yeah, actually, yeah. Instead of being all fancy with these guys here, let's do this differently. Because these half walls are going to be problematic to a certain extent, but if I come down like that, yeah, I can hide things a little bit nicer. In fact, there we go. Likewise, we can now run this guy to the back. And then I could just use these little guys to fill in the gaps. Like that. Yeah. Okay, let's get you down to the ground, like you're supposed to be. Don't know why you're sitting there. All right, more belting. That's gonna come through there. And we're gonna go up. So we'll take that all the way to the ground so it looks like it's the support. I hate these little gaps on the bottom of foundations here. I'm gonna fill that in. We'll fill in the wall here, including the stair. I don't think I need 4 meter. I don't need 1 meter either. We'll do that. That's my walkway. Weird shadows going on there, but that's all right. One more tree to go. And now we can run the belt. And again, anything that's out of visual range, I'm not going to worry about. I am going to get rid of the plants. Now let's run to the continuing explosions. Okay, now I need some belts so we can get our belts connected here. And if I don't see it, it doesn't matter. The clipping is fine. You can come all the way out to here. Actually, we'll go to there. There's a bit of a drop down here. I kind of like to take care of this. Yeah, I think I'll just use the step here. Yeah, that's all right. That looks all right. Okay, where am I going from here? I gotta go up through here. So I need a 1 meter here. Yeah, because I need to get into that little cubbyhole space here. So we'll grab our belts. And we are going to go this way. We'll grab our belts. And we'll stick it on the wall. So things stay levelish. Like that. Then we can grab a lift. Like that. And you go into there. All right. Now, moving down this way. We squeeze underneath the tracks. Put another lift in. And we head for the factory floor, which is right here. Just like that. Now, not factory floor, but, you know, the logistics floor for the station. Okay, so there's my West Coast sulfur. All of this is going to be for picking up water, so we're going to have 4 water stations. If I have to, I can kind of rework some of the stuff that's over here, extend things out, kind of play with this end a little bit more. But for now, what I'm going to do is we're going to drop a hole through here. And we're going to go through there. Hopefully that's still where I can see it. It's not too far into the ground because the ground is rising here. It isn't. What the heck are you doing in there? Where the hell did you come from? Okay, anyway, Moving on. There we go. And then I grab my track, or conveyor. Angle it from the ceiling until we get to over here. Now we want to compress that down. So I'm actually going to do a complete reversal here. Put one of these in temporarily. Let's grab ourselves a hanger. I think I'm going to move one actually a little bit closer. Yeah, right there. We'll grab a hanger there. And then we'll pull our belt there. So now when I put my lift in, it should collapse itself right to there, giving me this nice little transition. And then we can just throw in some walls across here. Make it look prettier at a later date. I'm not going for pretty right now, I'm going for function. Let's bring the wall down to all the way down to the floor. Like that. So belt, belt, belt. It does a little weird rise here, but you know what? Again, if I don't see it, it don't matter. Start buttoning everything up here. Yes, concrete block. There's an opening here that we need to close. Opening here. As always, fill in the little gap on the bottom, because I hate that little gap on the bottom. Close this wall up. Put in a temporary foundation, just so I have something to attach the first wall to. Then I can get rid of this foundation. And fill in the rest of the walls now that I have power running all the way up. Like, yeah, the irony is the elevator gives me my hover pack all the way to the top because, you know, there's power up along the whole thing. But the hover pack, of course, also means I don't have to have the elevator. So, you know, yeah, it's almost like a mathematical calculation. Not the prettiest. Definitely could be made prettier. But at the moment, my main focus is the function. And that's always my first focus, is the function, then the form. I mean, sometimes I'll have a form that'll kind of guide the function. Like if I want to do like a unique shape or something like that. But otherwise, yeah, okay, so I should now be able to hook up the power. The power. To the miner. Excuse me a sec. Nasty tickle in the throat. Are we going to give me something, anything? There we go. So, now my sulfur should make it all the way to that station. Sorry, I got a nasty tickle in my throat all of a sudden. Hide. Whee! Whoop. Now I squeeze in through here. Yep, that looks like sulfur is very successfully flowing. And we have sulfur pickup. Can our sulfur pickup be expanded? 100%. Very easily. Just add another station here, so that's good. And yeah, so I can have up to 720 I do function before form also, but I haven't been getting back and fixing my form. Lots of platforms that need their foundation tied in. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Yeah, I used to be worse with the function before form. I do kind of try to have a little bit of idea, and that's one of the reasons why I do a lot of my prefab blueprint buildings, is because I designed it. I've got both form and function. I've spent a bunch of time doing it, and now I can just recreate it. My big problem is patience. I just, for the function, for the form part, I'm just maybe a little bit impatient and just kind of want to get things working. So by having those prefabs ready to go, things are pretty good. In fact, I think we're done here. I don't need the water yet, so I'm not going to worry about running my water pipes yet, but I am going to head back to the factory or the new location. Yeah, I got to put some more accelerators in this line here. It's a bit of a slow journey, but I got lots of places. Every time I have one of these double towers here, I can easily slip one in. But for the time being, we'll just let it ride. One more thing in a large list of many things. Okay, so we can head now back to the nuclear plant and see what the next item we are going to need is. I'm not going to put in the sulfur receiving station just yet, mostly because I want to see what else I need to bring in and how I want to move the tracks around. Like, we're going to basically, this is the exit line. So if I kind of wrap this guy around nice and tight like this, let's say to then, actually let's try that again. Let's grab that and let's go to here, because then we can go to there. Yeah, so that would be our exit line. So I could have like a row of stations. Like kind of here with the appropriate distance and whatnot so that they can join back in. So when lines come in, they'll split off, they'll go that way, they'll kind of wrap down that way. We can kind of tuck in behind here. There's enough room for like a very small station in here. I don't think I want to have it tucked in right that tight, so it'll probably be further down there. But you get the idea, is then the trains can exit that way. They come in through behind, load into whatever station they want. And that way we don't have trains waiting for other trains to clear stations that have nothing to do with the one and then the other, and on and on and on it goes. But for now, that's it. Okay, so we're getting our sulfur in. I need steel ingots still, and I still need copper ingots for my electromagnetic control rods. I also believe I need deuterium ingots to come in from somewheres. I don't know. How do I want to do this one? So the thing is do I want to, because my other steel ingot site is getting pretty tapped out. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to do another steel ingot setup here. But I'm just not sure where I want to do it. I'm going to give it a little minute of thought while I take a quick another bio break, and I'll be right back. All right, so the sulfur is going to go into the sulfuric acid. It also, do I need raw sulfur here? Yeah, so I need to bring raw sulfur into here. So that sulfur station definitely wouldn't be down there. It'd be closer to this end here. Okay, so the one thing that I'm not sure about at the moment. Why has the blueprint got one extra? Weird. Is if that coal node is still off in that corner there. So I'm going to go have a little quick look. So we'll load up the jetpack. We'll take a little whoop. I'm wondering, is that coal node still over here? And I'm thinking it is. Yeah, it is. Look at that. There's also a deuterium node over here, I think. Yeah, so I still have this pure coal node right here. We'll just avoid any little McNasties down here. There's a limestone back here. Mostly what I'm looking also, I think, is over in this little corner. Where am I? Down here. Yeah, there's a deuterium node right here as well. Which means, like this copper here, yeah. Everything besides the deuterium and the coal is trash. But I know what this is a time for. So the deuterium is over here. Yeah. Hello. Hi. Oops. I think they just ran off the edge. Oh well. Yeah, so I'm thinking here what it's time for is to use the roads. Rover time! Bye, guys. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So, nope, that's not the right button. The right button is this button. I want us to do a sweep for deuterium. So it's just over there. This coal is right there. There's some copper there, but it's impure. Man, it's easy to get to that deuterium. That little bastard. I think I got him. So there's the deuterium node, all cleared out now. So yeah, I think I'm gonna build some rover roadways to get my coal and my deuterium. So we'll build the iron on site. The reason why that should be easy. Sorry, excuse me a moment. Here we go. Yeah, and that should be fine because if we look in our blueprint lines here, under our construction lines, we have our solid steel ingot, we have our iron smelters, we have our copper smelters,
Katerian smelter is literally just repurposing any one of these two here. So then we can build everything in situ, which I think I want to do. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do here. But that is going to be, I think, next week's project is getting those two lines set up. And I think, yeah, for the next foreseeable future, I should just grab him so he's not buzzing in my ear. So I think my next foreseeable future is just going to be dealing with the infrastructure, bringing the stuff in, either, in situ or having to import in like I am the sulfur. And just get all the resources underneath, get it into some sort of major or, centralized location, which will be underneath here where the train stations are. Having some truck stations here. It's been a while since I've used my truck system or my road systems or blueprints, so I want to kind of get those going again. And just getting everything moved over. Just with what I have there right now, that is pretty much the nuclear line. Like, I don't really need to do much more over here with these three kind of setups here. So the three, I'm counting the reactors as one. Then we have the blueprint for the EM rods, and then the blueprint for the uranium fuel rods. That's a self-contained unit. It's just a matter of getting the materials into those. So when I want to do another one, I just set it up right here and then send the lines over. So as much as I can kind of get everything feeding into the labeled conveyors beforehand, then I can get the uranium ore, get it all in here. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to be bringing in. So it's going to be pure logistics for the next little while. But frankly, the logistics is the whole freaking point of the game. So that's okay. But that is going to do it for today. I'm going to have to do a little bit of kind of planning out now. I've been, thinking about how much this is going to be. I don't remember these ladders being here, but then I never actually use ladders. I mostly fly everywhere. But yeah, I think having a nice little kind of road down on ground level following in here. Nice asphalt and whatnot pulling in from the Caterium, so the Caterium can kind of flow into here. Then they can join up a main highway, which is going to bring the coal in. Like I say, all the iron is nearby. There's iron over there, and normal nodes, so they're reasonably useful. We're all Mark III now miners, so that helps out as well. So we can get all our steel done. Copper, we could bring in from over there if I want to do trains. However, we do have copper, some crap nodes, some impure nodes over there. We have one normal node. Where am I up here anyway? Yeah, we have one normal node of copper right over here. Yep, right there. That's a normal copper node. We have 2 impure irons. We have 3 normal irons. We've got limestone. So there is lots of resources here for me to use, which is one of the reasons why I did come over here. Yeah, I did spend a lot of time on the train lines because there are certain things that can't be locally sourced, like the uranium, like sulfur, like the nitrogen gas that I'm going to need for the plutonium. So yeah, lots of fun stuff getting in here, but that is going to be it for today. Thank you for joining me this morning. Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate you guys, and I see the channel growing. We're gaining subscribers every week. We cracked 700, so we're now below 300 as we head for our 1,000 goal. So I really appreciate you guys helping me out with that. Also, don't forget if you want to help further support the channel, there is a join button underneath for channel membership. Channel membership will get you a shout out, and in the kind of after episode credits, it also gives you 5-day early access to the Escape or Quest for Peas Space Engineers series, and there will always be some sort of series running in that slot. If you like the video, maybe think about hitting the like button. If you're not subscribed, maybe think about subscribing.
But that is it for me today. So once again, I'll leave you with the parting of be safe out there, be good out there, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.